Welcome to De-Evolved Nation, where common sense is so rare, it's a superpower. You know, sometimes I sit back and I think about life before 9/11. Sometimes I think people forget what America actually felt like before 9/11. And if you were born after it or you were just a baby, you probably don't even realize how different this country used to be. Back then, we lived in a world with more breathing room, less fear, less control, and less surveillance. And then 9/11 happened. The moment those towers fell, the government got everything it had been asking for instantly. But I'm not here to go off on some tangent about how the government knew 9/11 was going to happen at the very least and did nothing to prevent it. We're here to talk about what happened after 9/11 and life before 9/11. Now, before 9/11, privacy actually meant something. Your phone calls, they weren't being logged by the government. Your location wasn't tracked 24/7. Your emails weren't scanned. Nobody assumed the average citizen was a national security threat. There was no Department of Homeland Security, no TSA, no mass surveillance laws, no secret courts rubber stamping warrant requests. There probably wasn't there probably was a federal watch list, but it probably didn't have damn near as many names on it. People trusted America a little more, and America trusted us back. Before 9/11, airports felt more human. You could walk straight to the gate, no ID, no ticket scan. Your family could hug you at the plane. Security lines were 10 minutes. Pocket knives were allowed. Carrying water wasn't a crime. And more importantly, a lot of people don't realize airport security back then was private. It wasn't enforced by the government like it is today. The government wasn't standing between you and the plane. After 9/11, everything flipped overnight. The federal government took control. We got TSA, body scanners, pat-downs, ID requirements, real ID, no-fly lists, and watch lists. And people accepted it because they were terrified. Problem, reaction, solution. Fear makes most folks agree to things they'd never accept on a normal day. Now, when I say problem, reaction, solution, what I mean is the government creates a problem, we give them a reaction, and they give us a solution. Take 9/11, for example. We get a massive attack the government already admitted that they had warnings about. Now, the 9/11 Commission has already admitted that it had warnings that were ignored. So there's our problem. Our reaction comes from us. They get fear, confusion, trauma, people just wanting to feel safe again. And here the government comes with a solution, a 131-page surveillance bill called the Patriot Act. Passed so fast, most lawmakers never even read it. And once that door was open, it was never shut again. Now, the Patriot Act didn't just give the government more tools, it rewrote how power works and how surveillance works in this country. And here's what the Patriot Act actually gave us. Secret searches, government entering homes, offices without telling you, roving wiretaps, they can track your phone, then any phone you touch, access to your records without normal warrants, bulk collection of phone metadata, who you call, when and how long, library, medical, and financial records, fair game. FISA courts approving thousands of surveillance orders with almost zero denials. National security letters, forced compliance, gag orders so companies can't talk about it. Before 9/11, the government wanted these powers and couldn't justify them. After 9/11, they got them in one afternoon. You don't have to be into conspiracies to look at the timing and say, something here just don't add up. And at the time, people didn't know that right after 9/11, President Bush secretly authorized the NSA to spy on Americans without warrants. Programs like Stellar Winds started sucking up phone calls, emails, browsing data, and everything. And the Snowden leaks in 2013 exposed the extent of them. He exposed programs like Prism, a program that pulled emails, messages, photos, and files directly from major tech companies like Google, Apple, Microsoft, and Facebook. Upstream, government taps placed on internet backbone cables to copy huge amounts of web traffic as it flowed through the country. X Keyscore, a search engine that let analysts scan through massive collections of emails, browsing histories, chats, and online activities. Mainway, a database storing trillions of phone metadata records, who you called, when you called them, and how long you talked to them, and from where. And this was all done in the name of terror, or to stop terror. But later, an official oversight report confirmed something that should make every American stop in their tracks. These programs didn't stop a single U.S. terror attack, not one. So why did they stay in place? Well, because they were meant to. They were never meant to be temporary. Once the government realized it could monitor millions of people at once, they're not going to let go of that power. You see, it's almost like this big shift happened instantly. Right after 9/11, the government rolled out new powers overnight. TSA, DHS, the Patriot Act, secret surveillance programs. This was the hard break in the timeline. When I think back, I think before 9/11 and after 9/11. That's when the country flipped. But years after that, there was a slow build, the quiet expansion, we'll call it. Every few years, another program was added, another database created, another layer of monitoring slipped into daily life, all under the banner of national security and the war on terror. Today, your phone tracks your location everywhere you go. Apps sell the data to government contractors. Police use Stingray devices to imitate cell towers. Cities run license plate readers to log every moment. Airports use facial recognition automatically. Fusion centers serve your data across 77 agencies. DHS monitors social media posts. Predictive policing tools scan through massive data sets. National watch lists went from 16 names in 2001 to over 80,000 today. So yeah, the door to surveillance was kicked open overnight. The surveillance empire that grew behind it, well, that was built quietly over 20 years, one quiet step at a time. See, freedom doesn't disappear with a loud announcement. It fades in inches. A new agency here, a new law there, a new temporary measure that somehow never expires. Every change was sold with the same line: this is for your safety. This is for your own good. But safety has become the excuse for everything from tracking to monitoring to profiling to scanning to storing every bit of information about your life. But here's the truth. Whether 9/11 was allowed, ignored, or just exploited, the end result was the same. The government gained power it had been chasing for decades, and it never gave it back. I'm not telling you I know the whole story behind 9/11. Nobody outside those rooms does. I do know this. Before that day, America at least acted like it trusted its people. After that day, America started tracking us. You could move through the country without feeling watched, but after that, every phone call, message, mile traveled, and dollar spent became a part of a digital trail. Freedom was the default. Permission became the norm. And if you weren't alive before 9/11, you deserve to know what you missed, because you can't understand what we've lost unless sometimes someone who lived through it explains what the world used to look like. We went from citizens to suspects, from private individuals to data points, from a country built on trust to a country built on monitoring. And the wildest part, most Americans didn't even realize the shift happened, and still don't. But all this being said, here's what I really want you to hear from me, and the whole reason I even made this channel. That same government that grew its power after 9/11, the surveillance, the fear, the control, it all depends on one thing keeping regular people divided, because the machine they built runs smooth just the way they built it, especially when we're distracted and divided. It's not left versus right, red versus blue. It's us versus them, and the only color that matters is green. You either got it or you don't. It's all designed to keep the public arguing at the bottom, while the folks at the top stay rich and unbothered. And if you made it this far, I appreciate you listening. Go ahead and click that like, subscribe, comment where you're from, and I sure do appreciate you. Peace.